Morning ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another day of the video. Darren, how's it going today? Today we are staying in today. Laura's literally just left. I have been uploading daily vlogs and stuff this morning. A daily vlog I've been trying to upload has not been going live. For the life of it, it refuses to finish processing. It paused uploading yesterday. It's now finished uploading, but it's on 95% processed. And I'm like, just fucking upload, man. It's really irritating me. So much so that the daily vlog after it has already gone up and is ready to go. It's privatised, but because I schedule them for 6:30. But it's really annoying, and it's not. I don't know whether it's YouTube or the video or what, but because obviously the next video went up fine, but who knows. So been doing that. We watched, kind of watched the last like 10 minutes of AlphaGo beating the world champion Go player. I mean, it's a good thing for computers, but I don't fucking understand. It's well confusing. I'm watching the game and I'm like, bloody hell, this is boring. I guess if I understood it like I understood chess, it would be interesting. But yeah, so that was interesting too. Because the radio is not working. I tried to put BBC Radio 2 on iPlayer, and it wouldn't play, ever so bizarrely. So I'm gonna have to wait till it finishes, and then hopefully the catch-up service works, and I'll listen to BBC Radio 2 for the day. So, otherwise though, what's going on? Today I'm working on programming. I've already started a little bit. I've started writing a test for my code. Oh, is it gone live? Oh yeah, maybe. It doesn't have a thumbnail yet. Yes! At last! Anyway, that's that. I can now shut that one up. So today I'm working on programming. I am basically going to finish implementing the test preparation section. It's relatively complicated. It's not complicated. I have the framework to do it, but the way of doing it alongside the existing framework is quite difficult because I used to only have one class of muddlers of mutations, and it was separated out by programming language and by types. So you could pick I want this type, or I want this type, or I'm using this programming language. I would just want all of them. You see, now what I have to do is I have to support programming languages and test frameworks. So I need to be in the scenario that I'm preparing, some do tests, some do code, and then the ones that do tests are then split by test framework. So it's going to be quite complicated building in that framework so that everything can stay kind of abstract as possible, but yet still have this underlying thing. And then obviously the test ones will target, in essence, the test ones don't do anything special, but they target a completely different section of the project compared to everything else. So there's bits and bobs that need to be changed left, right and centre. I'm going to change this as well to produce a list of mutations. So it's interesting basically. Trying to figure out what should have the what should know about what and all that kind of stuff. It's relatively complicated, but we'll see. And that's what I'm working on doing at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, because the mutation controller, really all it does is produce mutations and then apply them. So I should generate test preparation mutations rather than, and then it gets complicated quite quickly, and that's what I'm trying to wrap my head around now. The dilemma I have at the moment is whether or not to have the mutants. I have this thing called a mutant collection, which is a collection of all the mutants that the user wants to run. At the moment it's just all of them. I need to decide whether I need a second class of mutant collection, or you have applicable mutants for within a mutant collection. You have essentially two collections, one for tests, one for this is irritating as well because one's for testing, one's for test preparation. That's quite an irritating distinction to make between the names. So I think the best thing to do is to add another mutant add another collection with inside one collection, so you've kind of got one for one, one for the other, and then that way you can produce it. I'll build it with all of the settings, and then I'll have one builder to produce both lists. I've decided to have one idea of a mutant collection, but the mutant collection, rather than being basically, mutant collection was essentially a wrapper around iList. Now I have 2 iLists within it, and then when you add a mutant, the collection decides which list to add it into. So that way I've kind of keep all the logics on the adding, and then it will just go, do you want this or do you want that, and it'll just hand it out. Okay, cool beans. The thing is though, like, I'm breaking things. Currently there's no way of adding. Like, it'll throw an exception if you add stuff. But I'm at a position where I can check in, so I probably should check it in. I've got like 29 changes because I had to refactor a load of shit. So arguably, at the moment, it doesn't work. So I shouldn't actually check it in until I have at least the old way of doing it implemented. Which is what I'll do now. I'm having fun though, and BBC Radio 2, Chris Evans has just come on iPlayer, so let's jam. Okay, all of my mutations are done. I am now... wait, what? No. I've extended everything that I need to extend in order to store the information that I need to store about the mutations, and I'm separating them out. So now I have 2 flows of mutations, both of them technically first-class citizens, I guess. But that was the part of the thing, like, technically this is a second-class citizen, it's less important, but it should be. So we're passing it through now. The collection essentially will go, okay, I've got one. I've got a mutant thing here. Oh, it's garbage, don't want it. Or it'll go, oh, that's a tester, put it there. Oh, that's a preparer, put it there. And then you can request which one you want to get from. If there are no preparers, then you don't do any preparation. Simple as that. I am now about to start implementing the controller. So I now have to pull out all of the possible what's the word I'm looking for? All of the possible mutations that are being made. So I've got all of the mutants that create them, although I haven't actively created the mutant that's creating them yet. Back to basics. So I've gone through and I've created the... what I need to do then is get the controller to go off and... God damn it. So I pass the controller the mutants that it needs to run. Not that there are any mutants yet, I haven't actively sat down and programmed the mutant, I'm just building the framework for it to do it. The mutant then needs to select, that controller then needs to pick out all the files that it needs to pick out based on information in the project file. It then needs to pass all those files to the mutants then come back and go, right, sweet, you then apply all the mutants. The mutants go, okay, cool, that means I can make this mutation. The mutation then gets applied, and we move on like nothing ever happened. Whew! Whew! It's good fun. It's a little bit early for my 11 o'clock tea break, but I'm having an 11 o'clock tea break because it's a decent time to do it. So yeah, I am going to be... The problem with this is because of the nature of the change, of like how much of a shift it is, it's actually quite a difficult change to put in. So like normally when I have to support things, like when I was supporting I was adding a new test runner, I literally just extend the interface for test runner, and well no, not even extend it, I just implement another method of that interface. You know what I mean? Whereas this is kind of like, I've done all of this stuff before, but in a different way, so I'm kind of making it a little bit more, because I was originally like, right, so I only need to pick out this information, this information, this information, and I give it that information because I don't want it to know anything else. Now I kind of need it a little bit more generic. So while the changes I'm making, technically I've done something very similar to it before, that is designed in a way to not allow what I'm doing now. So I'm kind of like trying to break that kind of dependency. So every change I make has a relatively big effect. Like I had to move a enumeration into the core and a couple of things to do this, and I ended up checking in 30 different changes in the end. So yeah, each slight change is having quite a big effect on the area around it, and obviously the tests that then test it. So it's quite... It shouldn't be as difficult as it is, but it is as difficult as it is because I've developed my code in a way to make sure that you're not doing what I'm doing. And now I've decided that I actually have to do what I'm doing. So yeah, you know what I mean. I want this worked around and finished by the end of today. That's the end game. If I ever get unproductive, I've got other work to do, but essentially today is work, with the exception of this tea break. So, lol. Saying this, as tea break, it's more of a coming in here, talking to you, getting a cup of tea, walking back in there, trying to remember to drink my tea before it goes cold. And also, stop myself having a biscuit. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy dev blogs as they stand. Days like this where I'm literally just sat at home. I mean, to be fair, it's miserable and windy and horrendous outside and I have a lot of work to do. But days like this where I just sit at home and just ramble about programming, I honestly do apologise to people who don't like programming. But I imagine some of you must have some kind of connection to programming to watch these videos. So. It's lunchtime and I am going to have my lunch. I've just pulled out all of the files that I need to actively change. Yeah, after lunch I need to actively... Well, no, I've got all the files out, so now I'm back at the language controller level, which is going to go through all of the mutants that it needs to go through in order to prepare the tests and stuff, which probably means I'm going to have to actually invent that mutant, which is going to be fun. So, otherwise, let's go and get some lunch, because it's 1 o'clock, man. It's late. It's late lunch. I normally, well, it's because I've had a cup of tea, actually. On campus, I've normally finished lunch by now, by a decent amount of time as well. But since I'm at home and I can have tea, I don't have lunch as early. Good now, ladies and gentlemen, Santa's walking about. Lunch finished. I had red pizza yesterday, so I had warmed up pizza today on the frying pan. Absolutely delicious, and then just like apple and oranges and stuff. And now we're back. So let's start changing some files about. Let's start doing what we need to do to get these tests running properly. There's a reason why I should have had different mutants and not the same mutant and use the same object. Because I need to pass into this mutant how long to run the test for. All of the other mutants don't take any information apart from the... Fuck. I've literally just got to the bit where I'm adding it into the file, adding it into the timeout stamp, and then I'm like, wait, how do I know it? Having said this, there is a way. It's hacky. No, it's not hacky, that's genius. Partially hacky. Only a little bit though. Okay, solved that problem. Now the mutant collection, the thing that pulls in all of the mutants that I create, I have this dynamic list that pulls in all the stuff. That now has knowledge of this timeout feature. Cool. So I now know the mutant. It's now just Roslyn time. Let's freaking do it. God, it takes so long, this. I'd like to say that I'm on the very last little stretch here, but I think I'm not actually. All of this is mutating the contents of the file. I then need to do overwriting the file. Relatively simple, but that's just what's next. Oh man, it's getting late. Well, not really all that late, but you know how it is. 534 unit tests so far, ladies and gentlemen. Across apparently 66 files. Now I know. Now I'm pulling them all out. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I'm having a whale of a time here. This is where I'm starting to learn Roslyn and stuff, and it's quite difficult to pull out this tag. I'm filtering out things that already have a timeout flag, because I don't want to edit those. And I've pulled out methods that have... Well, I've pulled out the attribute list. I've pulled out all attribute lists that contain the attribute test method, and now I'm going to append an attribute syntax to that list for the timeout with the timeout requested from the user. It's just hard. It's taken a lot. I've basically got like a unit test that's essentially acting as like a test harness, and I just keep debugging through and seeing what information I can see and then pulling it out and all that kind of stuff. Okay. It's good fun though, I'm enjoying it. Quite different to the other mutants I had as well, because the other ones looked for every instance of something and then created an entire new file for every single one found. This one, I need to find every single one of them and change every single one of them, which I can't do because it's immutable, and then do it. So I've essentially got to create a new file, reparse it, come back through, find the next one, reparse it, and then like loop until you find it, essentially, until they're all gone, and then spin it out. But while doing that, I have to avoid throwing an error because then I'll get nothing. Good fun. I'm going to go get the post, see if we've got a post, and have a drink, and then we'll come back. And ladies and gentlemen, I have it. It's doing it. I'm going to be honest, I cheated, but I don't think there's much of a better way of doing it. When it comes to I haven't dived massively into thingy. When you're actively changing code, though, there are things like syntax factories where you can create syntaxes, I guess, but you can create expressions through the code. I can't find a way to create attributes, and if you like specifically external attributes that are different, like I just can't find that. So instead I've cheated and just gone, fuck it, turn it into a full string, look for this, replace that, bang. I've essentially done control find. So there isn't necessarily any point for this Roslyn. Well, no, there is point for the Roslyn. It means I don't have to look for test method and every variant of it. I can just go, right, these are all the attributes, which one of them are test methods? Bang, that one, okay, sweet, now do the control find on that specific little bit. But what I need to do now is make it recursive, because it will change all occurrences of that one thing, but if there is another thing, it will slip through the net. So say there is test method and then another attribute, that thing will go walkies, essentially. I don't know how this would work if you had like two attributes, because you can stack attributes or you can like comma them along. I will have to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Either way, I kind of have that now. I kind of have that running. I just need to get in and work hard at the rest of it now. I currently have an interesting question. I call a line of code in a base method twice. The first time I call it, here, it says try parse source code there. I also call it here, but here it throws an exception saying I need to say this or base or object. But if I put base in there, it goes, oh no, you're not supposed to put base on things unless of this case. Style cup, why are you being silly? Boom, there it is. It works. Now here, all I need to do is basically call the application thing. Should we just hack that in now, see if it works? Not quite. Okay, I'll hack it in another time. We're gonna go for a walk. Wait. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we just had dinner, and we're finishing up now. I've just had to, it's just doing the washing up. Just moisturise my hands, because they're really dry. And I am going to move into the living room on my laptop, and I'm going to do some group work, because the group work, we've got a meeting tomorrow, and I can't really do the work I need to do for the meeting tomorrow, because some people might rely on it for tonight, and all that kind of crap, so we'll do it like that. But it is literally just a case of applying it to the files. So it's recycling through all the files that are the targets, and then happy days. Fun, 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 ladies and gentlemen. That's what I want to do now, but no time. Shut down. Atlas, you shut down. Yeah, so 2 deadlines are looming, so I can't really spend so much time on this. But it's like, as soon as this bit's done, I'm done. With the exception of more mutants and things. Ladies and gentlemen, it's late-ish, and I'm going to end my video so I can render it and upload it tonight rather than tomorrow. I'm staying up a little bit longer, it's only 11ish. So, what's been going on? I've been sat here working away on my stuff. Someone's gone through and reviewed my section, so I've gone through and made the changes that they made. I reviewed the section I was supposed to review, although that section is going to get collapsed into mine at some point. I'm now going through and extending another section of mine as well, because I feel like I should, probably. So I'm going through it at the moment, just doing some stuff, getting some referencing and all that kind of good stuff. While I want to do programming, I know that this is also important, and this is an imminent deadline, so we're doing it. So I don't want to leave other people the excuse not to do it as well. And that's, if anything, is the best thing. I want my bit out of the way, so I kind of focus on either organising this or doing other things, to be honest. Otherwise though, I was sat there doing it basically. We watched House of Cards, which was like my little bit of a break, even though I was doing a bit in between. And then Laura fell asleep. I went to go do some work. I came back in, I was like, Laura, go to bed. And yeah, tomorrow is a long day on campus. It's the longest day. I get there at like 7:45 and I leave at like 6. So it's a bit of a long day. I think I leave here at 7 and I get back at 7. But it's quite empty. I have a lecture at 9, a supervisor meeting about my final year project at midday, potentially meeting Beth for lunch, and then, sorry, hiccups, and then group meeting, lab in the evening. Tomorrow is going to be more of a, while I'm doing that, obviously as soon as I come back I'm like switching off for the night. That's my plan. We'll see how well that goes. Because I potentially maybe up till like 1 tonight. I might push it a little bit in order to get stuff done. Cool. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to make myself a drink and then go carry on and do some work. I'll catch you later.